900 DSX after the 4.4 update, and it's Friday afternoon after work, and I've got a longer ride to check out any of the bugs that have been ironed out and how it generally runs. So first impressions, like I said the other day, it's a lot smoother from very low revs up until 4,000 or 5,000 revs. It's been smoothed out right across the range. What is noticeably different is the low revolution handling of the bike. So fifth gear from 1.5, 2,000 revs, it's very, very smooth and linear right up to probably from about 30 kph right up to the top end really. So you can go around a corner in fifth, and where really you need to change down, you can still be doing like 25, 30 kph, and it will still pull. You won't get any bobbling in the engine or balking in the engine. So it's made it a very, very linear, smooth experience. Overall, it just feels a lot smoother to ride, especially when you get on good tarmac. Someone mentioned and asked me if I'd try to drop it from maybe 3,500 to 2,500 revs quite sharply, and someone was saying there was on their 4.4 update they were getting a fueling problem where the fueling was switching off initially, then there was a bit of like an afterburn or after gas burn where they were getting a little bit of acceleration. I can't see anything on this at all. I'm just going to get around this bend and we're going to pull onto dual carriageway and try it through the gears. Yeah, the engine's very, very smooth now, guys. No jerkiness, very, very controlled. Power response very quick. Quick shifter okay. So very quick from second through to sixth on the quick shifter there. Second to third was a little lumpy. It went on okay, but there was a slight lurch on the bike. All the other gears, third up until sixth, very, very smooth. No sensation of really changing. Got the throttle halfway open, about 4,000 revs maybe through each gear, and it was very, very smooth, very linear. So motorway speeds, it doesn't seem any different before. The power, like I said, the power output and the power delivery feels a lot more linear, a lot smoother, and a lot more progressive. So you had a very, very feisty low end before. Up until 3,000 revs it was very feisty and a bit balky and a bit jumpy. It's very, very smooth throughout the rev range now, guys, and an all-round better experience. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pull off, because I don't know if you can see on the camera, but I've got 2.4 bar in both tyres. So I'm going to pull off and put fuel in this. There was a fueling problem on this before, and as much as the fuel gauge, when it used to get down to a third like it's showing now, it would suddenly stop and start flashing red. So I've not experienced this now. It's on the same where it used to do that. It's still showing a third of a tank, but just to be on the safe side, I'm going to stop at a garage, put some air in and fuel up, and then I'm going to take it down through a local village, round across the dual carriageway, and then pull onto the other side, and we're going to go round through a trading estate and some country roads around the other side and see how we get on. Just set some juice in this first, guys, depending on where this guy's going. Find neutral, turn her off, turn the camera off for a second, get my finger on a button. So guys, fueled up, and so guys, fueled up. I think the microphone's just come back on again. So guys, back onto the motorway, and what I'll do before we get on the motorway, I'll put it into sports mode. Now we're in sports, we're in 4th gear, we're only doing 53 kilometers an hour. I'll wind it on in 4th, just check nothing behind us. And the power delivery is instant, guys. It was pretty good before, but it's very linear now in sports now. Up to the speed limit. One thing I've noticed, guys, I don't know how this is going to come out on the microphone because I'm getting blasted around a bit, there's a fair bit of wind, but the actual speed on the speedometer on the Vosges 900 is way out. It is on most vehicles, to be honest. It tends to be a bit hit and miss. So you can see on the Carpi Ride now I'm actually doing GPS speed around 100, 102 kph, and it's showing 109 on the dash. So that's wildly out. If I get up to the national speed limit on the GPS, that is more or less the speed limit. It's showing 131 on the dash. So roughly 10 kph over at higher speed. So I'm doing 131 on the screen on the Vosges, and the actual speed I'm doing is 121. You can see on the Carpi Ride, or you may be able to see. Carpi Ride showing a speed limit of 120, and I'm doing 122. Actual speed on the screen is shown around 129, 130. So yeah, very capable bike, but I would think as you're getting into higher speeds, that reading is very off-putting. Very handy if you're in an area with a lot of cameras and you haven't got something like a Carpi Ride on your bike. It's going to definitely save you from getting a few points on your license. Not so much here in Spain. Luckily here in Spain, if you're going over the speed limit moderately, 10, 15 kph over, you get a fine, a fixed penalty fine that you can pay half within a certain period, but there's no points unless you're doing something excessively dangerous, and then you do get points. So yeah guys, a really nice place to be, especially on the motorway. As I've said in previous videos, I'm still looking for a suitable screen that will replace this paraphernalia that we've got in front of us. And we're going to go a bit further down, and the next junction I'm going to pull off, and we'll take a route that's an A road, and then we'll go over a mountain high ride over the top of a mountain down the other side on a single track road, which involves a lot of up and down shifting on the gear lever, and just test the overall ride quality on the new update, whether the gearing and anything's different. Like I said previously, just before, the gear changing and the linearness of the power delivery from 2000 upwards is much improved from the 4.1. I wasn't seeing it initially on my first ride when I put the updates on during the week, as I only went a few kilometers around the local area. But yeah, it's ironed an awful lot out. It's tamed it down a lot. I don't know if you guys remember in an earlier video, I said that in the lower revs it was a bit feisty and it needed taming down a little bit, and this update's certainly done that. Lovely place to be on a motorway. Nice protection with all this paraphernalia I've got in front. Nothing above my head. It's going right over the head with this deflector, although the screen's on the highest position. The two side deflectors now are sending the wind right around my shoulders, so all in all quite a nice place to be. So we'll get to the next junction and we'll pull off, and there's quite a few roundabouts that are slow roundabouts, and short stretch through industrial estate where there's a bit of up and down changing. That section normally, if I was doing that, I would be up and down from 2nd to 3rd, and I'm hoping now with a more linear lower end that most of these roundabouts we can go around in 3rd and there won't be any bobbling or balking. So that'll be the next test in a couple of minutes, this next sign for Yetchar. That will take us around the back of the mountain range where I live, and then there's a mountain pass we can sneak up on over the top, and that's what we're going to do, guys. So yeah, like I say, no problems whatsoever I've had with this bike in 5 months. It's been pretty good. Can't really complain. I did have the front end a little bit soft because of our roads are so rough and rutted. But to be honest, that was a bit detrimental because I was getting a lot of front end dive on it. Not so bad when you're on your own on the bike, but when you've got your wife on the back and you don't want to be lurching and diving at junctions with a lot of weight on the back. So yeah, down into first gear now, guys. This used to be a bobbly gear first. Bearing in mind this roundabout's quite a long way around the roundabout. Yeah, up into second, nice and smooth. Up into third, and now what we're going to do is we've got a series of roundabouts now. Going to try and leave it in third gear and go around these roundabouts. Keep an eye out for the traffic. Using the rear brake to trail brake instead of the front brake. Now normally that first one has just come around there, that would have been a second, and it would have been third along gear. So still nice and smooth in third, no bobbling whatsoever, no balkiness. Again, trail braking a bit with the rear brake, no clutch. Just going to trail brake it around this bend a bit. Oh, much smoother, guys, very, very smooth. Bearing in mind I'm in sports mode as well, it tends to be a bit feisty in sports. Do the same again, no clutch, no front brake, we'll just use the rear brake to trail brake a little bit around this bend. Got to watch out there, a few grids in the middle that are a bit slippy. Oh yeah, very, very linear, guys. Up into fourth between the next roundabout. Yeah, there's a noticeable improvement, guys. It's a definite noticeable improvement from what we had before. Now we're getting on to national speed limit, which should be a 90 along here. Nice and smooth, nice and linear. Fifth gear. What I used to do before, I'd stay probably in fifth gear around these speeds, but put it into sixth where it's going to drop the revs down again towards that 3000 bracket, especially if I slow it down a little bit. Bearing in mind the reading on the dash, if you're looking at that, guys, I'm not breaking the speed limit. I'm actually doing 88 on the GPS. So just for any of you keyboard warriors who are saying I'm breaking the speed limit, I haven't been overly, I would say, maybe a couple of kilometres over, but nothing to write home about. So showing 90 on the dash, 85 on the Carpio ride. So yeah, normally on a lower speed on the 4.1 software package we had before, I would definitely be in fifth gear now, and I'd be using a higher rev in fifth gear just to smooth it out a little bit. This is working pretty good as it is. Nice and smooth, feels really nice, especially in sports mode. Nice sweeping bend here, we'll curve it over, tip it in. Lovely sweeping bend there. Now we're going to come down into this little village called Yechar, and we're going to go up over that mountain range up over the top. So it's a nice scenic ride up over the top. Some really nice bends, some really severe switchbacks that you've got to watch. And the slow speed revving now, I'm going to try and keep the clutch out so we're bobbling. We've still got movement. I'm going to go in front of this car. Very nice, guys, very, very confidence inspiring. To be honest, this bike before, and I mean all bikes are the same, but you need confidence in slow speed handling on any type of bike, especially something that's top heavy and large like this. You need the slow speed confidence where you know you're not going to get the jerkiness, and I can say with confidence that the 4.4 update has created that confidence. It's made a totally different bike. Oh yeah, going on the 4.4 update, you'll know that I did the update on my own. It's not that complicated to do, guys, but like any update, those of you who remember in the early days of Android and iOS, especially Android updates, if you were putting them on and you'd have all these messages, don't turn your phone off, don't do this, don't do that, and some would fail and people couldn't get the devices to switch on, and it was a harrowing time. Now they're so simple now. Your Apple updates and your iOS updates are so simple, they just boom and they're on, especially with high-speed connections. Yeah, so I did the update myself, as you've seen in the previous video, and my main dealership, after I'd put it on, well, before I put it on, I'll tell a lie, before I put it on, I'd sent the dealership a WhatsApp message and asking had they had the 4.4 update and could they install it. Anyway, I heard nothing. didn't get in touch with me, didn't answer my WhatsApp message. Anyway, I put the updates on myself, installed it myself, downloaded the package that you guys will know about if you look at the video. Everything's in there, the PDF, the APK file you need for Android phones, and sent them another WhatsApp message to say, don't worry, I've installed it myself. At which point, within a few hours, I got another message back saying, we now have the update in our Elche dealership, which is a fair drive. It's about an hour and a half away from where I live. My main dealer is about half an hour away, so it was another dealership in the next province over, which is Valencia or Alicante region. God, this is so smooth, guys. I can't get over this. Sorry, going off track there. It's just like night and day. Yeah, so they were saying that they had the update there, and if I took the bike down there, they'd put it on. But it's the same procedure, guys. They haven't got some fancy computer that they're going to hook up to your bike to put this update on. It's just done through a tablet or a phone, exactly the same, Android tablet, Android phone, same APK to install the update, and away you go. This is phenomenal, guys. This road now, it's a beautiful smooth road, but this road I would be up and down the box, up down, I'm just bobbling along in fourth gear between 2,500-3,000 revs, very smooth, very linear. And like fourth now, I'm at 3,000 revs. We'll slow it down and we'll just open the throttle up. Whoa. So very linear throughout the rev range there, guys. And still got the nice induction roar after you get past 4,000 revs. You've got the nice induction. What you've got now is the ability to take it steady, wind down and just poodle along. I mentioned in a previous video that the problem that you had with the Vosges 900 DSX, it definitely wasn't a city bike, and the reason I said that is because the low revolution per minute handling was very sketchy. Not so much the throttle jerk as it was lumpy under 3,000. 1.5 to 3.5 was very lumpy in any gear low down, and this has just ironed it out beautifully. I mean, if I was in city traffic now, I'll slow it down even further. Yeah, 2,500 revs. I've just got a slight twist on the throttle. It's not jumping or anything, it's just going along smoothly. Drop it down into third. It's just so linear, guys. It's a lot better. I wouldn't have had the bike in sports mode on this type of road with these switchbacks we're going to come to in a minute, purely for the reason that if you dropped it down a gear or you slowed down and then you open the throttle, not so much there was a throttle lag, there was a quick uptake on the revs that would lurch the bike forward and make it a bit feisty, to be honest, especially in sports mode. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to get around this scenic bit. It's going to be another 4 or 5 minutes of me waffling and riding, just to test the really low speed handling. And you have to be really careful, guys, because you can only get one vehicle on here. So these corners, you don't want to be going around on a camera and then hankering on if there's a car around the corner. So hence the reason why I'm not charging around like an idiot. Not that I do anymore. A bit too long in the tooth and too old for that. But yeah, it's made a big difference on this. It really has made it, how can I put it, a joy to ride. I mean, I try and not get the lizard. You want to saw that on the camera. There was a nice green lizard running across the road. Didn't want to squash him. So yeah, this area I'm in now, and this range I'm going over, this is the Sierra de Ricotti, or the back end of it, the tail end of the mountain range. Some stunning views. There's a big spring just to the left of me down in the ravine where all the young ones go in the summer, and there's a bit of a lake there and a waterfall at the end, and they jump off a cliff 50-60 metres high into this huge pool at the end of the natural spring, and a bit crazy really. But now this is a severe bad bend. I'll put it down into second, bearing in mind I'm in sports mode. I'll trail brake a bit on the rear end. No jerkiness then going back on the throttle. That would have been a real jerky corner, especially in sports mode. I would have probably always come along this route in road mode. what I'll do, I'll come down here quite fast and I'll throttle off, see if we get any induction noise coming back out. No, the fueling's pretty good. I mean, you used to come down here in third, I'd throttle off and you could hear it cracking and popping. There will be a bit of afterburn on the fuel going through. Nice fuel mapping now, very, very linear, very smooth. Trail braking on the back again. Yeah, no popping whatsoever, no leftover fuel in the system there, cracking away guys. No lurching on the throttle. I was totally throttled off on that corner going round. Got to the apex of the bend and slowly wound it on, and before in sports mode that would have been, woof, it'd have been jumping forward, trying to get away from me. Oh, these bad bit of cobbles. They're there for flood reasons. If you get a flood there, it doesn't wash the tarmac away. Oh yeah, total difference guys, it's so smooth. Some stunning views around this area of the mountain. A couple of people walking along the river there. Yeah guys, so I can highly recommend it. What I would do, I mean, I know people are worried about installing it themselves. It is anything you do yourself is a gamble. I mean, you change anything on your bike, you're messing. If you don't know what you're doing, it's a bit of a gamble. But to be honest, it was no different to updating my phone, and I was willing to take the risk. But it seems now in Spain, if you're watching this and you're in Spain, I've got in touch with the dealership in Murcia where I bought the bike, and they tell me that their other office down in Alicante way in Elche, they've got the update. So I'm assuming that most dealerships now in Spain will have the update, and if you get in touch with them, I'm sure they'll do the update for you. What I want to check, and I've not checked yet, is the service interval. Someone did say once you put the 4.4 update on, the service interval automatically changes to 10,000, and I'll have a look at that later. And what I'll do, I'll pull up a bit further here, I'll pull up here, we'll just have a quick walk around the bike before I say goodbye to you guys on this video. Yeah, the handling and everything, it's just totally changed it. Considering I've got a new pair of motorcycle boots on and I'm struggling to get my toe under the gear shift. Right. Check I'm still recording. I think I am. I can see a flashing light there. So guys, there she is. Big difference on the update. I didn't think there was going to be. I was pretty tired the other night when I put it on. It was quite stressful putting it on, like I said to you guys. It was, I'm just covering the number plate there guys. Quite stressful putting it on, and yeah, cracking all round bike guys. Funny thing to know before I sort of sign off and love and leave you, all the reviews on the UK bikes now are starting to roll in. If you look on the internet, or you guys are in the UK, ask me any questions. I'm a long-term user of this bike now. I've had it 5 months. I know every foible on the bike, everything about the bike, and there's nothing really to dislike. I had a few niggles when I first got it, because my bike was one of the first bikes into Spain. It was in the very first batch, and I remember putting the first video up and no one had one, and I just got it. It was on the very early software, the 4.1, and this just makes a massive difference with the bike. There's a couple of reviewers in the UK. One was 5'7" and one was 5'6", and they were saying, no, yeah, we can flat foot this bike. Well, I'm 5'10", guys, and I can just about flat foot it. I can flat foot it with my wife on the back and the suspension down